the Fit and Healthy Athlete Podcast.
Debbie Potts is here to help you burn fat, optimize health, and enhance your performance in life as you age. We'll explore metabolic health, holistic health, and actionable insights with guest experts and deep dives into health topics. Whether you're an athlete or just looking to thrive, let's discover how to become your best self. Let's get started.
Have you ever noticed the first place where you see aging? Isn't it really your whole face? It's always, for me, my eyes. Some people get crow's feet, the creepy texture when you smile, the dehydrated, thinning skin underneath. That why do I look more tired than I feel moment in the mirror. But I want to offer you a reframe that I wish someone told me 10 years ago. Your wrinkles are not just about aging. They are not random. They are not genetic fate. I am learning that these wrinkles are information. They're literally dashboards of my internal health. That these fine lines are telling me something about my gut health, my liver, hormones, mitochondria, my bile, genetics, my stress physiology. So our skin is not separate from our other systems. The story of your systems is written on your face. So today, I'm taking you through one of my favorite rabbit holes, the skin, gut, and hormone axis. What your functional labs will reveal and how you can take ownership of your health to reverse premature aging from the inside out. This is my personal mission, and I'm sharing you my labs as an example of why your skin is a window into your internal health. So let's paint a picture. Your skin, I think about my skin as a high-end spa, or my body as a high-end spa. It's a beautiful lobby. The first thing you see when you walk into a nice high-end spa, your skin. The condition of the lobby, if you're walking into this high-end place, depends on the behind the scenes. The plumbing in the walls, the air filtration system, the power grid in the basement, and the maintenance team. We don't see any of that. Same thing with your skin. You can polish the marble floors all day, but if the pipes are leaking behind the walls, of what's going on behind the scenes, under the hood, if the power is flickering, the lobby is going to show it. So skincare, think of it as the polishing, and your systems are the plumbing. And this is why so many people feel that they're doing everything right, buying all these face serums, eating clean, exfoliating, hydrating, doing all this. But why do the wrinkles still happen? I've been doing all this work all year. Actually 4 years since I turned 50. Doing my red light mask, skin laser, doing facials, doing PRP, doing all the stuff, peptides, nitric oxide lotion. I've tried so many things. But what I just realized doing my GI map test is that the issues start in the gut and the liver and the mitochondria, not the face. So let me walk you through what I just did for my own health investigation, because this is a perfect example of how we need to do a health investigation and understand the correlations of our gut health to our wrinkle map. So let's look at where science meets your reality. Now, low butyrate on my GI map. What does that mean? I had low Akkermansia, low Facilibacterium, however you say it. My keystone bacteria, the butyrate producers, are low. So when I have low keystone bacteria producers of butyrate, I am going to be more prone to a less strong gut wall lining, gut barrier. If I have leaky gut, I have more inflammation in my body, and if I have inflammation, I have more collagen breakdown. So let's use this analogy. Think of butyrate as the spa staff repairing the walls and floors in the gut lining. When butyrate is low, the walls crumble, the doors get leaky, toxins and food particles slip into the bloodstream. Now we're having other problems, creating systemic inflammation. And that's what happens. The first issues that happen, we're starting to see collagen-derived tissues with the inflammation impacting our eyes, our lips, chest, and neck. So, backtrack. When we have low keystone bacteria that make butyrate. So if you don't have those guys, your butyrate production is low. This creates a systemic inflammation signal in your body. Inflammation attacks our collagen-derived tissues because these areas have the thinnest dermis and slowest turnover. So if I have low butyrate, leading to leaky gut, leading to elevated inflammation, I am going to have accelerated wrinkle formation. And this is why I'm seeing more dryness and skin flare-ups, especially around my eyes. My skin isn't broken. My gut barrier is broken. Now, I'll do a YouTube video sharing with my GI map. My leaky gut marker was not very elevated. It was in the yellow, not the red, but still looking at my clues, my symptoms, putting it together gives me some information. Now, another marker on my GI map shows higher levels of Enterobacter. This is a gram-negative bacteria that actually sheds endotoxin, or we did a whole episode or two on LPS, lipopolysaccharides. So let's explain LPS in a simple way. Imagine LPS as a microscopic sparks. They're flying around your bloodstream. These sparks trigger inflammatory response. We've talked about TNF alpha, interleukin 1b, interleukin 6, and MM9. MMP9. Now this is an enzyme that breaks down collagen as scissors. And when MMP9 rises, collagen fails. This is why our skin slackens, the wrinkles deepen, and elasticity fades, and the under eyes thin out. And this is personally what I'm struggling with. Even if my lifestyle is clean, my nutrient intake is solid, and all the topicals are high end, if my LPS load is high, my collagen doesn't stand a chance. This is one of the biggest invisible aging accelerators. And I think a big aha I just had this week. So I really wanted to share this episode with you. Number 3 that I found out, a clue on my GI map related to skin health, is high eosinophils. Well, this is actually my blood marker. I keep seeing elevated, which led me to want to do a GI map test to understand why are my eosinophils not going down. Higher eosinophils can be related to higher histamine. Higher histamine can impact skin hydration and cause more thinness of my skin. My eosinophils were elevated, and this is a histamine-driven immune activation end result. Histamine in the skin can increase transepidermal water loss. This means moisture leaks out faster, the barrier cannot hold hydration, and my eyes look dry and creepy. Now, I must add, I am in Palm Desert as we speak at my mom's house for a visit and working here. And I wake up in the morning, I have the look of dry, creepy skin. So this is a perfect example of how I need to do things differently because I can't understand why is this dry weather creating such an awful look on my face. Long-term histamine can also fatigue fibroblasts. The very cells that make collagen. So histamine can create fibroblast fatigue, creates earlier fine lines. This is why if you might struggle with psoriasis, dryness, and irritation cluster around the eyes, we want to look at histamine and histamine-driven immune activation. So something to investigate a little bit more. Again, testing and not guessing. Why do you have skin issues? Why is My skin not able to hold hydration. Why does moisture leak out faster? So remember, long-term histamine also fatigues fibroblasts, the very cells that make collagen. Next, fat malabsorption. This was a big aha for me. I had no idea. My steatocrit was elevated on my GI map. This means I cannot build skin without fat. Steatocrit at 33% means 1/3 of my fat intake is hitting the toilet undigested. Now, which is weird because not talking about my poop, but I don't have floating stools, which is usually poorly absorbed or maldigested fat. So I'm not seeing that, but I'm showing I'm not digesting my fat. So this is similar to trying to build a house without wood, without nails, without insulation. So when we're talking about our skin health, without proper fat absorption, we cannot absorb key ingredients. Fat-soluble vitamin A is retinol, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K, they're all fat-soluble vitamins, as well as omega-3 fats, phosphatidylcholine, ceramides, and cholesterol. Yes, we'll do a different episode on that. So we need these ingredients that come from fat absorption by eating fat and properly breaking down and absorbing fat for our skin health. So these building materials are so essential for lipid barrier, collagen synthesis, plumpness of your skin, hydration of your skin, and resiliency. So if you struggle with poor bile flow, poor fat absorption, you may be struggling with paper-thin, creepy skin around your eyes, which is how I feel today waking up in Palm Desert. Now, I want to add something about, I just mentioned cholesterol, and this is something I keep talking about more because it's really frustrating how many people are still in the dark about the role of cholesterol in the body. And when people have higher cholesterol in their labs and doctors are still telling them, stop eating red meat, cholesterol is bad for you. Stop taking, they're giving me statin drugs to lower your cholesterol. I want you to understand the role of cholesterol in your body as it is a building block of your hormones and your skin. So cholesterol is not the enemy. Let's give you a visual analogy here. All right, so imagine you're baking a cake. You need flour. Without flour, there's no cake, which is why I don't eat cake because I don't like flour. And the options of gluten-free flour. Anyway, so cholesterol is the flour your body's using to bake. So think progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, DHEA, cortisol, aldosterone, and even vitamin D. Yes, you make vitamin D from cholesterol. All these hormones are made from cholesterol. Cholesterol is the flour to bake a cake, but your body needs to make these hormones. So what I'm seeing, so many people on statin lowering drugs, they are pushing their cholesterol so low. And if your cholesterol is too low, or if you're not absorbing fats because your bile is sluggish, or if your liver is not packaging cholesterol properly, you cannot make enough hormones. Your skin takes the hit first. So let's break down what that means for a little tangent here. So all our steroid hormones come from pregnenolone, which is made directly from cholesterol inside of our mitochondria. Picture your mitochondria as tiny factories. Cholesterol is a delivery truck that brings the raw materials to the factory door. If the delivery trucks cannot get inside because maybe your bile is too low, fat absorption is not great, and your mitochondrial transportation is impaired, so your production is going to slow. Which hormones suffer the most? Progesterone. Progesterone is key for our skin health as it's collagen protective, it's anti-inflammatory, It's a fibroblast stimulator and a skin hydration supporter. So this is why progesterone drops show up so fast around our eyes. Low cholesterol, low pregnenolone, you're going to have low progesterone, which will give you thin, fragile, dehydrated, under the eye skin. Now, my friend Dr. Anna Kabecka has this great skincare product with progesterone in it. So let me know if you want that link. Now, cholesterol and DHEA and testosterone. Let's talk about that connection. DHEA and testosterone are also made from cholesterol. And understand, DHEA and testosterone do help with our dermal thickness, elasticity, firmness, repair rate. Even women need these hormones, especially midlife. When your cholesterol is low or inaccessible, because of reasons we talked before, this is leading to sagging skin, slow healing, hollowing, and loss of elasticity. This is not an aging issue, it's a raw material deficiency. Now, how's cholesterol connected to vitamin D? And how's vitamin D related to skin immunity and repair? So many people forget this. You cannot convert cholesterol into vitamin D in your skin with sunlight. Or sorry, you can, I said that wrong. You convert cholesterol into vitamin D in your skin with sunlight. But if your cholesterol is low or liver function is impaired, vitamin D cannot be activated. Vitamin D is essential for skin immunity, inflammation control, wound healing, barrier function, collagen gene activation. And so a low vitamin D, plus if you have high inflammatory genes as interleukin 6 and CRP, this creates the perfect storm for psoriasis, dermatitis, eczema, chronic dryness. Again, this starts far from the surface of the skin. We need to look under the hood and look at the whole picture. Now, let's talk about cortisol, as cortisol also comes from cholesterol. And here's a paradox that no one talks about. High cortisol breaks down collagen. I did not know that. Low cholesterol makes it harder to produce cortisol. So if your body having low cortisol or low cholesterol, we need to look at the whole picture. What's going on? So if your body doesn't feel right, we've got to look at the why. Because your body's smart. If we can't make cortisol, it steals pregnenolone and reroutes pregnenolone away from sex hormones towards cortisol production. Now, we used to say this is called pregnenolone steal, but it might be some other reasons. But just for today, let's say if we have not enough cortisol, we're going to have low progesterone, low estrogen, low DHA, high cortisol and thinning skin if we don't have the precursors, right? So high cortisol breaks down collagen. Low cholesterol makes it harder to produce cortisol. So our body does something smart but costly. It takes a different hormone precursor, and reroutes it towards cortisol production. So if your cholesterol is low, it gets worse. Your body is literally robbing your skin to keep you alive. This is why chronic stress shows up in your face. So when we take away one hormone to make the others to keep us alive and safe, progesterone, estrogen, DHA can all get lower. All right, another little side note that most people miss. You use cholesterol to make bile. Bile is a soap that breaks down fat. If your bile is sluggish, Cholesterol is not able to convert properly. If we have sluggish bile, the fats don't emulsify. You don't absorb fat-soluble vitamins. The lipid barrier thins out, and your skin becomes dull, dry, and creepy. This is essentially what I've been struggling with, and important for other females who might see on their labs elevated bilirubin on your blood chemistry panel, gallbladder sluggishness, low stomach acid, and markers as a GI map, as I did, high steatocrit. And this is what I didn't know I had, but I'm seeing it in my skin. Poor bile flow is one of the top causes of premature aging around our eyes. Now, every single one of our skin cells, millions of them, have a phospholipid bilayer. Cholesterol, phosphatidylcholine, and omega-3 fats. The membrane is the difference between the skin that looks bouncy versus flat, hydrated versus papery, resilient versus fragile. If your cholesterol is low and your fats are not absorbed, your cell membranes literally deflate. And this is why women feel that their skin collapsed overnight. Again, it's not your age, it's biochemical architecture. And let's have more problems, complications if you're on statin drugs. You're not eating a fatty diet. You're afraid of fat. You're afraid of cholesterol. You're probably going to struggle with premature aging. So if you are on a statin, you're ever been on or following a low-fat diet, if you've been scared of cholesterol for years, your skin will show it, because statin medication inhibits this HMG-CoA reductase pathway. This pathway also makes CoQ10, vitamin D, steroid hormones, and bile acids. So when we are taking statin drugs and or eating a low-fat diet, this can be connected to low vitamin D, mitochondrial dysfunction with low CoQ10, low progesterone, low testosterone, low bile flow, poor fat absorption, thin skin, more wrinkles. This is why so many women and men in their 40s suddenly look 60s after a few years on statin drugs. Again, it's not statin by itself. It's a collision of a statin on a low-fat food plan, chronic stress, and for women, perimenopause, and then we have bile issues. Your biology cannot keep up. So your skin depends on cholesterol to make every hormone that keeps you youthful. If your cholesterol is low, or your bile is sluggish, your gut's inflamed, your mitochondria are struggling, your skin becomes an innocent victim. This is why an anti-wrinkle protocol should include working from the inside out. Do we have enough bile support? Do we have fat absorption going on? Do we need more phosphatidylcholine, omega-3s, mitochondria support, hormone repair? Because if you're taking hormone replacement, bioidentical hormones, I'm taking progesterone, estrogen, and I have some thyroid T3 medication. But I'm still not fighting the wrinkles. I need to be working on my biochemistry, working on identifying what's the missing ingredient, what's off my body causing this domino problem, right? So we need to investigate you individually. For example, my bilirubin was a little bit high. And I'm looking at not the lab ranges because everything is normal, and often LabCorp ranges, your doctor's ranges. I'm looking at from FDN practitioner lens, optimal ranges. And that elevated marker, bilirubin, even just slightly, is a signal towards sluggish liver. It's a signal to me that this client has phase 2 liver detoxification strain. And if we have that, we probably have some estrogen recirculation leading to estrogen dominance. Good clue that we have sluggish bile flow and clue towards oxidative stress. All these can lead to dullness in my skin, dryness, slow nutrient absorption, and breakdown in our collagen. So our liver is a major player in skin aging. And if your liver is backed up, your skin will show it. Now, we're talking about hormones for us females in middle age, lower progesterone, estrogen, and how they start to fluctuate up and down. We also have collagen loss. So if you're still cycling your perimenopause, but you're having low luteal progesterone and lower than you used to middle of your cycle estrogen, these shifts decrease your skin hydration, elasticity, thickness, repair. And progesterone is similar to the foreman telling the fibroblast to lay down collagen. If progesterone is low, fibroblasts do slow down. And then combine that with cortisol, the collagen breakdown increases if we have high cortisol. So we get a mismatch. Now, this is why the under eye area gets hit first during perimenopause. I can take all the estrogen creams and progesterone, but I need to look at what else is going on. Create my own personal blueprint if that inflammaging blueprint is telling me a story when I look at my genetics. So I'm looking at my genetics and putting them all together here. I have different genetic SNPs that are going to give me more inflammatory signaling, higher baseline inflammation, weaker than it should be antioxidant defense in my mitochondria. I'm going to have poor conversion in beta carotene, which makes retinol, and I have slower methylation, so I have slower repair. And I have a weaker vitamin D signaling. So me personally, I'm more sensitive to oxidative stress and collagen breakdown. Not because I'm doing anything wrong, because my genes turn up the volume on inflammation. So I personally need more antioxidants, more collagen protective support than the average person. This is why I really find it valuable information, additional clues when we add in your genetics into our Future You blueprint. Now, cortisol, if it's higher than it should be when you did your test, remember it's time of day you're taking the test, high cortisol breaks down collagen, thins the skin, the dermis, dehydrates the skin, and causes that hollowed out under eye look. So remember, cortisol is catabolic. That means break down. So cortisol is catabolic, it breaks things down, and the first tissue that cortisol breaks down, collagen. This is why the under eye lines develop fast when you are stressed out. Chronic stress impacts the whole you, including the skin health. Now, think you're not about getting older, and this is how it's going to be. It's about inflammaging. And if you have a gut barrier issue, lipopolysaccharide LPS issue, bile flow, poor fat absorption, detoxification issues, hormone signaling, stress physiology, and genetic sensitivity, we can help all that. And the wrinkles will change. I see it in clients all the time. This is creating your own Future You blueprint. So for me, I'm working on the gut and the liver, the hormones, the mitochondria and collagen in the right order of operations, not all at once. Not just about a skincare product line, my skincare routine, but a systems repair. So I'm needing first to reduce LPS bacteria. And then I work towards rebuilding the gut barrier. So first I might take some Saccharomyces boulardii and working on reducing the endotoxins, and then I'll work on repairing the gut, help lower histamine, help improve hydration, help calm the skin, and using ingredients as different antimicrobials and butyrate and L-glutamine in time can help. I want to repair my fat malabsorption and bile flow, and I need to do this first to fix my skin. So taking a liver gallbladder support, I'm taking digest enzymes when I eat, TUDCA, really focusing on helping improving my fat absorption. So I'm eating fat, but I'm not absorbing it without seeing it in the toilet. I'm seeing it in my skin and my performance as running. So better hydration, better ceramides, thicker skin, less creepy skin, and more elasticity, and better collagen production when I can absorb the fat that I'm eating. Remember, you cannot build youthful skin without healthy fats. And it's not just what you're eating, but how you're able to break that food down into usable nutrients. They're building blocks. We always need to address the liver. And in the right order of operations, we're not doing everything at once. We look at phases. So do I have enough ingredients on board to help my phase 1 and phase 2 liver detox? And then always make sure we start with phase 3 drainage pathways before we start in phase 1 and 2. So looking at my choline, glutathione or NAC, glycine, really looking at how phosphatidylcholine can improve plumpness and hydration. Glycine is a good ingredient for collagen synthesis. You can get that in bone broth. And NAC is a precursor to glutathione, and that will help collagen protection. In time, I will support my mitochondria, looking at different ingredients, but also helping rebalance my hormones. What's interesting researching this eye protocol is that astaxanthin can reduce eye wrinkles by directly lowering oxidative stress. CoQ10 can boost ATP and help with repair, and GLA can restore the skin lipid barrier. So after this program, I can then get more benefit from the topicals I'm using after my internal systems improve. So adding in my Young Goose products, I love their NAD precursors ingredients or copper peptides, ceramide cream, but the topicals only work when the inside is fixed. So I'm reintroducing these afterwards to make it more effective, so I'm not just spending a lot of money on products that are not giving me results. Now, I do add collagen into my coffee, but looking at what other foods to get that gut to glow. Now, hitting the protein goals, getting salmon weekly, olive oil after improving my bile flow, polyphenols for my microbiome, I prefer over fiber, and eliminating seed oils, I already do, and reduce histamine, I have to pay attention to, which I had no idea. So lifestyle for your hormones and skin, think about 3 hours before bed, you're not eating, doing sauna, cold therapy, vagal nerve work, being more focused on your breathing and tracking your heart rate variability, and doing some biofeedback training. And circadian rhythm alignment, which means get up and get outside and breathe through your nose, do some movement training out in the morning sunshine. So in time, I should start to see less dryness, calmer skin, less puffiness around my eyes, improved texture, hydration of my skin, wrinkles, elasticity, and just improving the future me personally. So the future you blueprint is decided by the systems you repair today. And your skin tells the story of your metabolism, your hormones, your gut, your nervous system. So when we rebuild the inside, the outside transforms. So understanding how all these amazing products and devices can help, it's looking at what are you using today? Is it really working? So let's dive into some other products that I've been using and put that in together into your routine, but understanding we need to work on the gut first. So my targeted anti-wrinkle plan that will work even better once I address this under the hood issues I just identified is working on the sauna, working on my red light therapy, using the device on my thyroid, and understanding how all these tools can help, but how we need to start building our foundation first. So, yes, I can do all these fun things. I can work on stacking Young Goose NAD serum and using nitric oxide gel for a little more glow, putting on my higher dose red light mask for 15 minutes a night. I can use my near skin laser around the eyes and then adding different serums afterwards, copper peptides a few times a week, and getting the sun, light, and sauna I use 4 times a week to help, and then using the flex beam to target collagen and lymph. adding the quinoa on my thyroid, jawline, and neck to help circulation. But all these different things help, as well as my Gut to Glow L-Reuteri yogurt I make based on Dr. William Davis's products. Adding in more omega-3s and phosphatidylcholine, glycine, hydration, and minerals, and working on my protein goals. All this helps biologically reverse the drivers of aging my skin. It's not a beauty routine, it's a mitochondria, hormone, and inflammation upgrade. We want to reduce this inflammation and work on your future you blueprint. So if you have any questions, let me know and let's create your personal blueprint, because you don't know what you don't know. And I really believe in testing and not guessing what is best for me, and looking at how I can take ownership of my health today in middle age, so I can improve the aging process and understand how and why everything works, and when I should work on certain protocols or systems or devices to make it the most effective. What can I stack together? What can I put together? Just wanted to add this in because I really think it is important to work on ourselves on an individual level and not waste a lot of money on things that might not work right now. And so we need to figure out what we should do on an individual basis and check back, course correct, and then we put it together for a new plan, because things will change. All right, thanks for listening. If someone else is struggling with their skin health and just trying all these products and not getting anywhere, let them know. They might need to investigate what's going on under the hood to improve their skin health on the outside. So let's strive to be fit and healthy from the inside out as we age, so we can live our best life and thrive and not struggle as we age. Thanks for listening. See you over at debbiepotts.net or YouTube, Coach Debbie Potts channel.
Thanks for listening to the Fit and Healthy Athlete Podcast.
Coach Debbie Potts draws from decades of experience. Ready to optimize your health? Visit www.debbiepotts.net for a discovery call. Find her on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Coach Debbie Potts. To support the show, like, rate, and review. See you next time.